Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Leanne, and today I have another What's for Dinner video for you. Today I'm sharing 4 really quick meals to put together. They're from a combination of 2 weeks. There's only 4 recipes, or 4 meal ideas, a couple recipes. I haven't been filming every meal because I've been making a lot of repeats. I also had been struggling a little bit physically on and off, and so I've just kind of been filming what I could when I could, and we're putting it together. So that's why I'm doing the intro afterwards. So I hope you enjoy these quick, easy, for those busy nights when you don't have a lot of time. These are some really good meal ideas, and they're tried and true for us. They're things that we really loved. So anyways, let's get started. For this first dinner idea, we just had some buffalo chicken nachos. We do ours on a sheet pan, but you could do them individually. We eat them right off the pan, but that might not work depending on your family. But we just have the chips and the cheese and the chicken with some hot sauce, all the toppings we enjoy. We also have some ranch on there. Really delicious. For tonight's dinner, we're going to have some steaks that we had in the freezer. This was actually one large steak, so I cut up a piece for myself, and I seasoned that with salt, garlic powder, and onion powder. And then I put this steak seasoning that I picked up from Aldi on Jesse's steak, and I just have them out to get, to room temperature before we grill them. So I'm just going to cover them up and let them sit on the counter, and then we're going to work on some sides. All right, now we're going to work on the sides. I decided to do some roasted broccoli. I was going to do spaghetti squash, but the spaghetti squash will stay fresh longer than this broccoli. And although I did not actually get this broccoli in the grocery haul that I shared with you, I picked it up over the weekend because, I needed broccoli for something I was bringing to a picnic. And I obviously have some left over, so I figured we would have roasted broccoli. We're also gonna have some rice, which I have going on the stove, and it's just some brown rice, and I'm cooking it with some beef broth because I have an open carton in the fridge. So just trying to make sure we're not wasting anything. I'll have a recipe for you linked for the roasted broccoli if you would like to follow a recipe. I'm not really measuring. I'm just gonna kind of do however much I think we can eat. So, if you like to pay attention to like ratios and stuff a little bit more, I will have that for you. All right, so I don't know how much I had there, but I just finished up what I had. And again, I'm not going to measure this, but I'll have a recipe linked for you. I'm gonna drizzle with some olive oil. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt. Well, that was more than a little bit of salt, but I think it's okay. I forget that I switched salt shakers a while ago, and I still forget that one comes out better. Some minced garlic, some breadcrumbs, or I'm going to be using panko, and some Parmesan cheese. I have some that I've grated myself. That's why it's in this container. We're just gonna give this a good toss. I might add more olive oil if I need to. If it looks like everything's not sticking, just a little more. I mean, it smells good, but it's cheese, olive oil, and garlic, so you can't really go wrong with that, can you? All right, I am using a cookie sheet with a silicone mat, but you can also put some foil down and grease that. And we're just gonna lay this out. Then we're gonna take some of the topping that didn't stick to it all. We're just gonna sprinkle that on top. You can kind of see what's in the bottom of the bowl there. Spread the broccoli out on an even layer. I kind of am using a bigger pan because that's where my silicone mat fit. We're just gonna put the rest of the topping kind of on top. All right, so I've got my oven preheating right now to 425. Once it is preheated, and probably once my husband starts the grill, he's out for a run. So once he starts the grill up, I'm gonna pop these in the oven for 18 to 20 minutes at 425. All right, so here's a friendly reminder. Broccoli will drastically shrink. Glad I did as much as I did. And then we got some brown rice that was cooked in the beef broth and steaks. Here is mine, and there is Jesse's. That's our dinner. All right, guys, so for this next meal, we're gonna be having some taco pan-fried burrito crunch wraps. Seems like a long name, but I just made it up. This meal I am going to be doing a voiceover for, because a lot of times while I'm cooking, my husband is in the room, is preparing for Sunday service, and we don't have an office set up for him right now because I kind of like just hearing it. So this is what's happening in the background while I'm cooking. All right, so this dinner is a very easy one to make. I am starting by just prepping up some taco meat, cooking the ground beef, putting in a little bit of water and some taco seasoning. I do make my own. I will do my best to write out the recipe I use in the description box. I do not know where I got it from. I've been using it for a very long time, long before I was using or doing YouTube. So I didn't really pay attention when I wrote it down. But there's lots of different ones out there, but I'll write down the one that I use. So we're just making our taco meat, and I kind of did this ahead of time because I wanted to use the same pan for frying up the burritos because I didn't have another bigger pan. So I'm going to do this ahead of time so that I can clean it out, and then we'll go to assembling our burritos. If you enjoy seeing budget-friendly, yummy, easy dinners, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I do share those on a pretty regular basis. Sometimes I do these what's for dinner videos kind of exclusively, and then I also sometimes will just share them in a vlog or whatever. I also do some budget-friendly grocery hauls. So just some fun little basic lifestyle content. I would love to have you subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss out on my future videos. I do like to also add in some crushed red pepper flakes to our taco meat sometimes just for a little kick. Obviously that's optional, but basically you're just going to want to make some basic taco meat for this. You can season it however you want, and then I'll show you how I do the rest. All right, so you of course can put in your burrito whatever you want, but this is what I'm going to do in mine. I am going to start with some cheese, and then I'm going to use some leftover rice from I think it was the previous meal in this video, and then our taco meat. Now I do use the large burritos, or large tortillas, goodness gracious, and I like to put them in between a damp paper towel and put them in the microwave for about 15 seconds, and it just softens them up and makes them nice and pliable. Now this didn't work quite with all of my burritos, but I think this first one here worked really great. And you could also add in beans and corn, whatever obviously you want to do, but I was just kind of keeping it simple, folding in the ends. We're going to roll it over and we're going to pop it in our pan. You're going to do it seam side down. I have some avocado oil heated up in the pan, but you could use, I guess, olive oil or something else too. And you're just going to heat that up until it is nice and crispy. Flip it over and do the other side. I do make sure that the ingredients, like the meat and the rice, and if you're going to put anything else in it, make sure that that's warmed up first, because it really won't have a chance to get like hot in the pan frying portion of this, just because it's not in there that long. So you're basically just kind of toasting up the outside of the tortilla. We usually serve it up with some shredded lettuce. You can do some diced tomatoes, some sour cream. I put some chili lime seasoning from Trader Joe's on top of my sour cream. Super, super delicious and very quick and easy to throw together, especially if you have leftover taco meat already made. All right, guys, so tonight we're going to make some chicken parm, and I'm going to be cutting the recipe in half, but I'll have the original recipe linked down below for you. So I'm going to start by making the breading mixture. I'm going to do a half a cup of breadcrumbs, panko breadcrumbs. I guess you could probably use regular breadcrumbs if you wanted. Quarter cup of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to do a little bit more than you're supposed to for that. Half a teaspoon of oregano. Quarter teaspoon of garlic powder, or so. It's always or so. And then a half teaspoon of salt. And then you could also add in pepper if you want, but if you're new, I don't like to cook with pepper, but you do you. I'm just gonna mix this all together and set this aside. All right, so I have cut my chicken up and thinned them out. This one was already thin because, well, I'm not very good at cutting it evenly. And then I put the rest of it in a plastic baggie and pounded it thin. So So I've got 1 egg beaten here. I'm going to dip the chicken in the egg. And then dip it over here in our little breadcrumb and cheese mixture. I want to get that really good and coated. This is a baked Parmesan, if I didn't tell you that. We're not frying this. It's a little healthier. And I have a greased baking dish over here. And we're just going to do that for all of our pieces. I have 3 pieces just because I cut it funky. But this was 1 chicken breast. It was a 1 larger chicken breast. All right, so I'm just gonna pop this in the oven at 400 degrees. Use the second to the top spot for the rack is what the recipe says, for about 15 minutes. All right, guys, real life, hopefully you can hear me. I got the dishwasher going, the vent on over the stove for the boiling pasta. That's happening. He's happening. But perhaps you can hear just fine. All right, we're going to flip our chicken over. I don't know how important this is, but it says to do it, so we're going to. All right, and we're gonna put about 1/4 cup sauce on each chicken breast. This might look weird, but when I have a little bit of sauce left over from an open jar, I don't wanna waste it, so I just put it in the freezer. So I have a few bags with just a little bit in it. So that's what I pulled out to use tonight. If you see me getting my sauce out of a bag, that's what that's about. I will probably have to get 1 more of these sauces out because we'll probably want some for the pasta too. And I know I have 1 more of these in the freezer, so I'll probably just run it under some warm water to, thaw it more quickly. That was exactly really enough for the chicken breast. Now we're gonna top with some shredded mozzarella. I did do some freshly grated. I do prefer it personally. I think it melts better and tastes better, but you don't need to do that. You just go for the bag stuff, and that's just fine. All right, we're gonna put this back in the oven for just a couple more minutes. All right, here it is out of the oven. I'm gonna plate it up. All right, guys, that's for dinner. That's what's for dinner. I'm not even making sense. I think I'm having muscle spasms right now, so I'm struggling a little bit with my words. But that's dinner, and it smells good, and I think it's gonna be good. You should make it. That's it for this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's kind of like patchy and pieced together, but that's just kind of how it worked out. But they are all really delicious meals, and I recommend all of them, so I figured I'd still share them with you. So it doesn't feel like my best quality as far as like filming and editing, but I hope you liked it and it's real life. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.